Tonight on 19 Investigates, can stopping animal abusers also save human lives? How local investigators are connecting the dots between cruelty to pets and violence against people. A new law is changing what tech companies have to report, and the tip line numbers are surging. We'll share what it means for families and some simple safety steps you can take at home. And some murder convictions tied to bullets now called into question. We investigate the tainted testimony abandoned by the FBI that's been used in hundreds of courtrooms across America. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy. It's a race against time when someone is shot and bleeding out. Now, some local paramedics are bringing life-saving blood to victims before they ever reach the hospital. It's all part of a new program recently launched by the Elyria Fire Department. Investigator Mike Mason shows us how it works.
When someone is shot and bleeding, every drop, every second counts.
While we're talking, there could be a situation where we're required. It's absolutely a game changer.
We're talking about blood. Elyria firefighters Chad Arkeba and Michael Eichenlaub also work as tactical paramedics. 19 Investigates was there when they launched a new initiative designed to bring blood to wherever it's needed the most.
Beginning today, we're ready to go out. We're ready to administer blood if needed.
Elyria and Cleveland are the only two cities in the state that have medics who can give transfusions right in the field. University Hospital stores the blood for Elyria. It's there whenever the police department's special response team faces a potentially dangerous situation. Medics will pick up the bags of blood, put them in this cooler, and bring them right to the scene.
So if there's a barricaded suspect, a hostage situation, something like that, we can activate the system. We handle, high-risk search warrants.
Because there's a high risk that somebody could get shot.
Definitely a high risk in those kind of situations that we would be needing the blood products, yes.
Transfusions can now be on hand and ready before police even begin their operation.
Like any planned search warrants or planned operations, we'll give them the lead time, and we go pick up our blood products, and which is O negative.
O negative is the universal donor type. When people are wounded, they typically don't receive blood until reaching the hospital.
They will give the 1 to 2 units of blood prior to whole blood and moving on to stabilize the patient. This allows us to give that in the field, so when they get to the emergency room, they're able to get the definitive care that they need. It really speeds up the process for them.
And if we can get it to them pre-hospital, that's just going to save lives. Because blood is definitely the future of trauma.
Elyria firefighters launched this program on February 1st. The department now has 5 medics that are specially trained to give transfusions right in the field. Mike Mason, 19 News.
Animal cruelty cases in Cuyahoga County jumped nearly 80% in just 1 year, and experts say those crimes are often a red flag for violence against humans. Investigator Sarah Goldenberg shows us tracking animal abusers could help protect both pets and people from violence.
Cats shot at with BB guns, dogs tied to a pole in the yard for days. Dozens of cases of animal cruelty and neglect continue to pour in.
It surprised me that there's as much of this going on as there is, and it surprised me just the depraved type of mind that it would take to harm an animal like that.
That's investigator Todd Stample, a retired Cleveland Police Department detective. He leads the newly established Animal Crimes Unit in the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, along with Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Isadora Almaro, announced 2 weeks ago.
You just follow the evidence wherever it leads.
The prosecutor's office recently tracked a big jump in the number of people charged with animal cruelty in Cuyahoga County, from 40 cases in 2024 to 71 cases in 2025. And they found animal cruelty doesn't always end there.
We'll have one type of crime, maybe a felonious assault or domestic violence. And in that crime, they're also hurting an animal. And oftentimes animals are also used as a tool to hurt people, like a loved one, like someone's dog, a girlfriend or a boyfriend's dog, and the offender may hurt that animal to set an example for that person.
A landmark study from the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and Northeastern University back in 1997 found animal abusers are 5 times more likely to commit violent crimes against humans.
It is an absolute precursor to future violence. And we've seen it here a lot.
And the FBI later found abusers don't always go after animals before turning to people. Sometimes offenders hurt humans first, then animals.
When you have a neglected animal in the home, more often not than when there's children in the home, they very well may be neglected as well.
And when those offenders are caught for animal abuse, they wind up here on the Cuyahoga County Animal Abuse Registry, now in effect for almost 10 years. More than 70 offenders are listed. Like this Euclid couple who pleaded guilty to a felony for neglecting their dog, Duke. His condition so bad he had to be put down. A judge sentenced them to 1.5 years of community control in June 2025.
You can look up offenders on the registry yourself, and people and organizations offering pets for adoption, they can check on it too. Now, it lists offenders convicted of felony animal abuse with mugshots or on a map, and it's run by the Sheriff's Department. They're banned from adopting animals in Cuyahoga County.
Meanwhile, the new Animal Crimes Unit keeps on tackling the new cases coming in.
We try to bridge the gap. We want animal control and the police to work together because this is very serious.
Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.
Cuyahoga County Crime Stoppers offers rewards for information in some of these animal abuse cases, like this one. A cat was brought to an animal hospital. This was last October. Sadly, it was so badly abused, it had to be put down. You can call Crime Stoppers with any information at 216-252-7463, and you can remain anonymous. You can report any animal crimes to your local police department or animal control, and you can check out the Cuyahoga County Animal Abuse Registry yourself. We posted a link on the free 19 News mobile app. Just look for this story under the 19 Investigates section. Well, Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl for romance scammers. They're busy working their playbooks to steal money from as many victims as they can, using the romantic holiday to play on heartstrings. Consumer investigator Jen Pachano has the story of one local woman who went to police after discovering she was scammed out of over $100,000 by someone she thought was her boyfriend.
So I was in here last Tuesday and I was speaking with officers.
Okay.
It's a long story.
This Brook Park woman came to police heartbroken and broke. She'd been scammed out of $130,000.
My boyfriend, who I so fought, would send money through a MoneyGram. I would pick it up, deposit it into my bank account, and send it to them through Cash App.
Okay.
Never thought anything of it.
The woman, who we're choosing not to identify, said she met a man she thought was named Christian Hoffer on Match.com. Between August of 2023 and this past December, the victim was on the hook, scammed by this fake Romeo out of 6 figures from her 401k.
Well, the bank had called me, and they were worried and concerned that it could be a scam.
Her bank considered her a money mule.
But I'm more of a victim, and there's really nothing that I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
However, the bank doesn't kind of see it that way.
As Valentine's Day draws nearer, there will be plenty more of that kind of activity. Ryan Abood with Gourmet Gift Baskets says they're in a unique position to witness romance scams blossom as criminals use gifts to groom their victims.
What we see a lot of fraudsters do is they'll try to make sure they send something for Valentine's Day just to show up. And as a result, the volume of orders that are fraud, it basically goes up 4 to 5 times our normal rate.
In February 2025, nearly 1% of their sales were flagged as fraudulent, which is more than 3 times the annual average. Abood says their team uses layers of AI and human review, looking at IP addresses checked against a database of known fraudsters, even checking the messages in the gifts for spelling and punctuation errors, all in an effort to stop scammers in their tracks. He says those who are good at romance scams seem to be bad at credit card fraud.
Because Valentine's Day really is the Super Bowl of romance scam fraud, right? It's because it's a date on the calendar it forces the fraudsters to do something. And when they're sort of forced into doing something, they tend to make more mistakes. We as retailers, we get this unique opportunity to sort of catch them in the act.
If you do suspect that there is fraud going on with a particular attempted purchase, do you reach out to the recipient?
I wish we could, because I think we could stop a lot of romance scam like in the process of it happening. With privacy the way that it is and how broken privacy is in the country right now, we can't.
Abood says they can reach out to the scammer who's trying to place the order. At the very least, that can stop a fraudulent order from going through and let them know they're caught. Then maybe, if those flowers or chocolates don't arrive on Valentine's Day as promised, a potential victim may now take a good hard look at who they're really involved with. Jen Pachano, 19 News.
You can report a romance scam to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Their website is ic3.gov. And like the woman in Jen's story, you should also contact your local police department and your bank if you send any money. Protecting children online is a big part of internet safety, and new data is starting to shine a light on just how often predators are trying to contact kids online. Consumer investigator Carice Jackman spoke with lawmakers and advocates about what the new numbers show and practical steps parents can take.
I don't think there's a more heinous crime than the sex trafficking of children.
Georgia Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff helped lead the Bipartisan Reports Act, a law that requires certain online platforms to report suspected child sex trafficking and online enticement to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC, which operates the cyber tip line.
I know every parent across the country, frankly, is terrified about what can happen to kids on the internet.
Ossoff says the law triggered a spike in reports to the tip line.
By requiring tech companies to report evidence of child trafficking has resulted in a nearly 1,000% increase in reports to the tip line of evidence of child sex trafficking. That empowers law enforcement to go after those who would traffic children.
NCMEC also tracks online enticement when someone tries to lure a child online into sexual acts. NCMEC says those reports jumped 77% in a recent 6-month comparison. Yoda Soros serves as Chief Legal Officer at NCMEC.
But what the Report Act really did is it actualized what our team knew was happening online. So now we are actually getting that information, we're getting that vital analytical information.
What tips or recommendations would you encourage parents to know about?
If anything makes them uncomfortable, if they feel like somebody is interacting with them online, if they said or did something online that they now regret or feel uncomfortable with, but the child knowing that they can come to an adult, that they can get help. We all need to collectively be able to protect children from this.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Lawmakers have also moved a separate measure aimed at improving how the federal government coordinates anti-trafficking work, including between the Department of Justice and HHS. To make a cyber tip line report, you can go through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website. Coming up next on 19 Investigates, a fugitive sex offender captured after 15 years on the run. We'll tell you how the feds finally tracked him down. Plus, details on the new elite unit that's helping to catch other fugitives. And for decades, the FBI swore by a type of forensic science linking bullets at crime scenes to boxes of ammunition. But suddenly, they pulled the plug.
When you think about it, it's kind of like associating a fried egg to the carton of eggs that the egg came from.
Did you kill your wife?
No. Still ahead, you'll hear from a man who spent 2 decades in prison, convicted partially with this type of evidence. Experts call it junk science and believe it's time to review all convictions where this tainted testimony was used. Plus, see what our national investigative team uncovered about how many cases are impacted. After 15 years on the run, a most wanted fugitive sex offender from here in Northeast Ohio was captured by U.S. Marshals about 160 miles away in West Virginia. 19 Investigates was the first to break the news of his arrest on the 19 News mobile app. Investigator Sarah Goldenberg shows us why marshals say the fugitive continued to lie even after he got caught, and how a new elite unit is helping to crack cases like these.
The many faces and names of a fugitive. Investigators say 59-year-old Dennis Russell Nagel built a new life for himself as he hid from law enforcement. The convicted sex offender from Northeast Ohio arrested Monday night in Wheeling, West Virginia, one of the most wanted fugitives on the U.S. Marshals Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force since 2010.
We thought we were right behind him a couple times, but last night we finally caught up to Dennis Nagel.
Late Monday night, U.S. Marshals got information that Nagel may be hiding in Wheeling. U.S. Marshal Pete Elliott tells us members of the task force in West Virginia then found him in a house off Broadway Ave. But they say he tried to hide his identity, giving officers a fake name. Eventually, he confessed he was Dennis Nagel.
So when you are on the run, you're going to do everything within your power to conceal your identity. When you're a sexual predator, I don't think you give up being a sexual predator. Our goal is to get them as quickly as we can.
Even the people living with Nagel, he says, didn't know his true identity.
We will always get our person that is on the run. I'm very proud of our unit and the work they do.
Before he went into hiding, Elliott says Nagel raped a 12-year-old girl. Court records show he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of attempted gross sexual imposition in Trumbull County in 2007. He got 5 years of community control and had to register as a sex offender. In 2009, Nagel was sent to prison for 14 months after failing to notify the sheriff's office of his changed address. After he got out, marshals say Nagel failed to register his address with the Richland County Sheriff's Office. He was charged in October 2010 and was on the run ever since. In cases like this, Elliott says tips from the public always help.
It takes people in the public caring. So we always rely on tips. In a number of these cases, we put out wanted flyers all around the nation, ask for tips on these individuals.
This arrest, U.S. Marshal Pete Elliott credits in part to their new SPEAR unit, which stands for Specialized Personnel for Enforcement, Apprehension, and Recovery. The elite unit is made up of 3 deputy U.S. Marshals and 2 Cuyahoga County Sheriff's deputies, merging missing children, cold cases, and sexual predators investigations into one team to crack more cases. And the hard work doesn't stop after this arrest.
It always feels good, but we're on to our next one today.
This is the third case U.S. Marshals closed in 2 weeks of fugitives who have been on the run for more than 8 years, tracking them to Louisiana, Florida, and West Virginia. Next, Nagel will be extradited back to Richland County to face the pending charges against him. And U.S. Marshals will investigate if anyone was helping him hide or if there were any other possible victims. Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.
If you have any information on where any wanted fugitives in our area may be hiding, you can contact the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force at 1-866-4WANTED, or you can submit a tip online. You can remain anonymous. Governor Mike DeWine signed a new law last week that's designed to notify the public when a prisoner escapes custody. This all prompted by a series of reports from 19 Investigates. Our Mike Mason was in Columbus for the signing.
This is House Bill 23, the Escaped Convict Alert Program. This is actually the original copy that the governor just signed. The law creates a notification system similar to Amber Alerts whenever a felon escapes custody. Ohioans will soon be alerted on smartphones and computers when a prisoner escapes in their area. This was all prompted by a series of 19 Investigates reports. In 2024, we found several inmates escaped custody, and the Summit County Sheriff's Office failed to alert the public. Representative Bill Romer saw our reports and introduced the bill. He invited us along for the bill signing, along with Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski, who is one of the bill's supporters.
The fact that we were able to get a bill through this process so quickly to keep the people of Ohio safe, to keep them notified if there's an escaped felon at a jail, at a prison, that's very important to folks.
It just made sense, in today's technology to have something that's
along the lines of an Amber Alert, to where if someone does escape, that we can, through social media, we can notify people and let people know that somebody's bad is on the loose.
The Escaped Convict Alert Program law will go into effect on March 2nd. Right now, the Public Safety Committee is ironing out all the details about how this notification system will work. In Columbus, Mike Mason, 19 News.
Well, FBI agents swore by it in courtrooms across America for decades, a type of forensic science called bullet lead analysis. After being used in thousands of cases and hundreds of trials, the FBI discontinued it over flaws in the science. Now, at least one man is free as another fights for his freedom. National investigative reporter Chris Nakamoto looks into the tainted testimony.
It was definitely a shock to the whole community.
In 1991, 45-year-old Norma Jean Yates was found inside this home, shot to death 7 times. The house set on fire.
She deserved better than that.
Her death, a defining event in the life of her husband, Jimmy Yates, because 6 years later, a jury convicted him of her murder. It's his first sit-down interview after being released in 2021.
Did you kill your wife?
No. I have maintained it all these years.
Police found a bullet in his vehicle, which they said matched the lead in bullets at the crime scene. That science the jury trusted when it ultimately convicted Yates, no longer used by the FBI. When a weapon is missing or a bullet too damaged, the FBI claimed at the time their science could match bullets to ammunition through the lead alone. Our national investigative team found the FBI admitted to using this science in 2,500 cases, and it was introduced in hundreds of trials across America. But in 2005, the FBI pulled the plug on this practice. Their admission, neither scientists nor bullet manufacturers are able to definitively attest to the significance of an association made between bullets in the course of a bullet lead examination.
Subjective speculation masquerading as scientific evidence.
Chris Fabricant is one of America's leading experts on forensic science in the criminal justice system and is the director of strategic litigation at the Innocence Project. He calls comparative bullet lead analysis junk science.
When you think about it, it's kind of like associating a fried egg to the carton of eggs that the egg came from. Number one is that it sounds like science, right? There's a lot of scientific terminology used in all forms of junk science, so it sounds scientific. But what it lacks is an empirical basis.
Our national investigative team found following the FBI's own admission that it was abandoning the use of bullet lead analysis, it began notifying at least 300 agencies across America that had received lab reports since 1996. Our team uncovered gaps in notifying the convicts. One of those cases is Kermit Parker, a Louisiana man convicted nearly 4 decades ago for the murder of a police officer. In 2008, the FBI sent this letter to the district attorney in Parker's case, saying the testimony exceeds the limits of science and cannot be supported by the FBI. In new court filings, Parker's legal team says they never got that letter, or other evidence implicating another suspect who admitted to killing the officer. We requested the number of how many letters, like the one in Parker's case, were sent from the FBI. We asked for expedited processing. It's a request the FBI denied.
Those notices didn't go to the individuals whose cases were affected.
I met him through a mutual friend.
Parker's wife, Marcia, spoke to us outside the gates of Louisiana State Penitentiary, where her husband is incarcerated. They want the state's highest court to intervene.
He did not do that, so it puts a fire under him to fight even harder, and knowing that he has the proof that proves that he didn't do it.
When Parker was accused of killing Sergeant Warren Broussard back in 1988,
I heard a shot, and I turned around. The cop had fallen in the street.
No murder weapon was ever found. Bullet lead analysis was also brought up at Parker's trial. With new information coming to light, state justices will decide if Parker gets a new hearing.
That way we can be before a judge and we can show them what has been discovered in those hidden DA files.
If you're going to use it in court, then it has to be valid, it has to be reliable, and when it's not, due process requires we go back, we look at these convictions, and we make sure that miscarriages of justice have not occurred.
For Ates, a second miscarriage of justice came in 2011 when he was reconvicted. That conviction was overturned in 2018 because evidence was withheld from his attorneys, a CD of another man's confession.
I believe in God, I believe in forgiveness, and I'm not going to hold a grudge in my heart.
Do you still think about her every day?
I think about her every night.
Ates now lives in Alabama, moving out of Florida after his release from their state prison in 2021. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court in Louisiana could rule sometime this spring in Parker's case. Prosecutors maintain his conviction is valid and it's too late to appeal it. The stories we showed you today are streaming now on 19 News Plus. You can download the app for free on your Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV device. Next week on 19 Investigates, the cost of beauty goes far beyond cash. Now, questions about the safety of some hair products are coming to light. Find out what our team uncovered. Plus, a local mother murdered, her family still seeking justice. Can you help police catch a killer? Those stories and more coming up next week on 19 Investigates. I'm Brian Duffy. Thanks for watching.